So are you done booking it yet?
Yeah, we haven't published the entire schedule yet, but yeah, I'm done. There are a couple of workshops. I'm still prying a couple of people into workshop spots, but it's pretty much done.
Is that a relief?
Well, it's not really a relief because now I have to go on with the work of advancing the show and getting all the maps and hotel information out to everybody, and that's like a frenzied job between now and the festival.
So when you plan the schedule, when you plan each day, I know that when the bands come in from out of town, that's dictated by their routing. But when you're putting together a day's schedule, how do you try to make it flow? What is your thinking?
Well, it's kind of like curating an art exhibit in some ways. You've got to set things up so that the acts sort of enhance each other. You don't want like 3 great female gospel singers in a row. I don't.
Yeah.
That's just overkill. What you want to set the blues up against the reds so that they complement each other. And that's kind of more intuitive than anything. Is you just sort of have these cards on the table and you sort of move them around and see how they look and try one scenario and then move things, and eventually it kind of just settles into a thing that feels right, and then it all locks up. And some of it is logistics. I mean, if Monty and the Big Slide guitar show is playing on the boat, it doesn't get back until 4:30. Well, I can't put them on the main stage until 5:30. So some of it's dictated by other things that are happening at the festival, or they may not be arriving from Austin on the plane until 4, and so I can't really put them on the stage until 8 or 9. It's that kind of thing.
But that sounds like it's a fun part. Putting those together.
Yeah, it's kind of like doing a bizarre 3-dimensional puzzle, because you have the boat, people coming in from the boat, you have the airport, you have people coming in from the airport. Got to figure out how to get people from the hotel and back to the hotel and to the airport. It's this 3-dimensional thing that eventually what's unnerving about it is the months where it's just sort of this amorphous swarm of bugs and gnats or something, or mosquitoes, and then finally it kind of all gels and comes together. That's really exciting. The exciting part, though, really, is when it leaves the Excel spreadsheet and jumps into McCall Park. And then the stages are up, and suddenly there are bands on the stage, and it's like, oh my God, this is what I've been looking at in these little Excel cells for the last, 6 months. That's when it really kind of takes off and takes on a life of its own. The stage crews pick it up and run with it. That's like exhilarating in a way I can hardly describe.
I'm sure. Well, listen, you're certainly invited to stop by the Oregon Music News comfy booth again this year.
Oh yeah, I will.
Put your feet up.
I will.
You get a minute.
Absolutely.
We had so many people. Bobby Rush came in, sat down, and all kinds of people last year.
Yeah,
that's really fun.
Probably the best little hang spot in the park.
Yeah. Somebody came in and changed the baby on the rug. Really.
It's a family affair.
So, how is Sunday shaping up? I mean, do you still have to buy a festival pass to get in?
Yeah, I mean, we've got such a dramatic lineup that day. I mean, we've got Robert Plant and the Sensational Space Shifters, Taj Mahal, Robert Randolph and the Family Band, Mavis Staples, Nikki Hill, who's this up-and-coming Afro-American rockabilly singer. I would almost describe her as a rockabilly singer. We have Kim Massey, who's a blues jazz singer from St. Louis, coming in. So Sunday's going to be really spectacular. And we knew from after Steve Miller hit the stage last year, when we had like 30,000 people probably down at the park, that we just couldn't have this kind of lineup with and operate as we had in the past. We had to have some way of controlling the crowds and limiting the crowds to some extent. So we decided we needed to essentially kind of make people, make people buy a 4-day pass to the festival. So if you have a 4-day pass, yeah, you will get in Sunday. And the 4-day passes are still on sale, not at the discounted prices at this point. I think that might be $60 at this point for 4 days. There will also be a Sunday-only pass available. We have not put that on sale yet. We're still debating the price point and the packages. We may have discounted group packages for families and that sort of thing. These are things we're discussing right now. We haven't announced any of that, so keep your eyes and ears posted.
Right. To Oregon Music News.
Yeah, yeah, that's right, through Oregon Music News. And
Your truth?
so,
What do you hear from Robert Plant?
well, I've been dialoguing with his production manager. There are about 20 of them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's 6 or 7 guys in the band, or 7 or 8 people in the band, and then like 12 support crew. I think it's going to be fun. I mean, he's not really kind of the typical, you know, rock diva guy. I mean, he's pretty laid back. I mean, I heard that he was riding TriMet last time he was in town.
Really?
Yeah, he was spotted over in Hawthorne District, kind of riding the bus and looking at bookstores and things like that.
Do you think people still recognize him being this old?
Well, I was in a bed and breakfast in Clarksdale, Mississippi about 1.5 years ago. This is where this all started, really, for me. I walked into this bed and breakfast, and there was this guy, you know, this long-haired British guy with all this jewelry on, and he kind of introduced him. He just said hi to us. I was with a couple of friends, and he was with a couple of buddies, and we kind of just schmoozed and hung out a little bit. I didn't know who he was. I recognized him kind of. I was going, who is this guy? And somebody else in our group said, Robert Plant. So my friends ended up hanging out with him most of the day. I have Stan Street, who runs our Crossroads stage, lives in Clarksdale, has a gallery down there. He does sort of blues art. Plant hung out in his gallery all day with Stan and Erica Olson from the Winter Blues Festival, a friend of ours, who also works on Waterfront. They hung out all day together and kind of Plant bought some of my buddies' paintings and talked about Sonny Boy Williams and that kind of thing. So the short answer is I didn't recognize him, but everybody else did. But anyway, he's very kind of unaffected, unassuming, and he is always been deeply rooted in the music of that Delta area. He goes back there every year, and just to sort of hang out in the cotton fields, and he visits Sonny Boy's grave and spends a little time there, and he's taken the music in his own direction and sort of done a lot of experimental things with it from the very beginning with Led Zeppelin, and now with his current project, which is the Sensational Space Shifters, which has an African bow player in it. It's got the guitar player in the band, Jason, I forget what his name is produced Tinarwin's last couple of records. He's a British guy. So he's fused Mississippi Delta to African Saharan music and a little bit of Appalachia. I think it's really interesting. I really dig it.
Well, we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just an amazing day of music on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, Mavis and Robert Randolph, and I don't know. There may be some sort of jamming amongst all those people too that happens, which would be really cool. Can't really plan for those things, but they may happen.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to 4 days of exhaustion.
It's like so thrilling for me once it leaves my computer and hits the ground and explodes. It's just like I have one of the coolest jobs in the world. I think really is what it comes down to.
Well, me and our staff, we run from beginning to end. Throwing stories up and doing interviews and I can't wait. I'll see you there.
I can't wait either. I will also be playing with DK's band, Stewart's band, and probably with Toulouse. And I may sit in with Karen Lovely for a song or two. So
Great.
see you down there.